everyone, welcome to this video. In a previous video, we would have reviewed Asch's research into conformity. Asch also looked at different variables that could impact conformity levels, which is what I'm going to be outlining in this video. Asch investigated three variables, which were group size, unanimity, and task difficulty. The first variable was group size. In the original study, the number of confederates ranged from 6 to 8. In this variation, there would be between 1 to 15 confederates. Now, what do you think the conformity levels would be with the more confederates that there are? The second variable was unanimity. This essentially means the extent to which everyone in a majority has the same opinion. In this variation, there may have been a confederate that was answering correctly, or there could have been a confederate that was answering differently to the majority, but still was incorrect. The idea was having another confederate or person going against what the majority was saying. The third variable was task difficulty. Within the original task, it was obvious what the correct answer was, as the task was unambiguous. In this variation, the task difficulty was increased so that the length of the lines were now quite similar. It would now not be so obvious what the correct answer would be for the participants. I have provided an example on the screen which shows how the task could be seen to be more ambiguous and difficult, and now it isn't so apparent whether the answer is A, B, or C. Now, do you think conformity will increase or decrease now that the task is more difficult? So now, looking at the findings and conclusions. Firstly, for group size, essentially it was found that 3 was the upper limit. When there were 2 confederates, the conformity rate was 13.6%, and then with 3 confederates, the conformity rate was 31.8%. Increasing the confederates after this had little difference on the conformity rates. This therefore indicates what the group size would have to be to have a maximal impact on conformity levels. For the second variable, unanimity, it was found that conformity would decrease. Importantly, it did not matter whether the confederate that was dissenting was answering correctly or incorrectly. This is interesting as it shows that it isn't necessarily about what someone is saying that may result in decreasing conformity levels, but it is about the lack of agreement of the group. It may have been that perhaps the participant felt less obliged to conform, which is supported by the fact that there are now 25% incorrect answers. Finally, when looking at task difficulty, it was found that conformity levels increased. This makes sense when we think about it, as now the task is more difficult, more ambiguous, and it's less clear what the correct answer would be. Linking this back to explanations of conformity, this could be linked to informational social influence, which is about information and people conforming because they want to be correct and are unsure what the correct answer is, which is relevant within this variation as now the task is more difficult, meaning it can be seen to be an ambiguous situation.